Okay, continuing on the theme of apatheia, indifference, and in the context of Buddhism, we saw the Four Noble Truths. uh, Life is suffering, cause of suffering, end of suffering, and the path to that. I want to talk about what's sometimes called the three characteristics of the universe, or three laws of the universe, or however you want to put this in Buddhism. And they are very simply life is suffering and the cause of suffering, the no self, or what sometimes is called anatman, and then the law of impermanence. Okay, well, we already saw life is suffering and the cause of that. Buddhism also has this idea of that there actually is no self and that everything is changing. Well, what does no self mean? It means that what I call Duane Armitage, is just a name I've given to a constant flux of different opinions, different feelings, whatever. There isn't actually a self or a person behind my personality. That's a name we just call it. If you think about this, I'll do this toward myself. Who is Duane Armitage? Well, he's a guy that looks like this. No, that's just my body. That's just my appearance. Well, he's the son of Larita and Duane. No, those are just my parents. Well, but I can't. In other words, I can't be reduced to my body. Well, he's a guy that acts like this. Well, I don't always act like that, so I can't be reduced to my actions. Well, he's a philosophy professor. No, that's just my job. In other words, there really is no self behind the illusion of self. The self is an illusion, and a name we give to a constant flux of changing opinions and patterns. You think about yourself. I don't know if you've ever done this, but I look back and think about myself when I was a kid and think, who the hell, what was I thinking, right? I'm not even the same person. The personality is constantly changing. Now, maybe there's something constant throughout all that. I believe that. But the Buddhists are trying to say we're constantly changing and in flux, and we need to be very careful about how we label things, because we are these beings that can do whatever we want. The existentialists pick this up and say, we're free. We're free. We can't label ourselves or think that we have this staticness to us. We're constantly changing, so there actually is no self. Now, the law of impermanence, I don't know if you've ever seen the Buddhist idea of drawing a picture and then burning it, or constructing a castle in the sand and then wrecking it. All that is to highlight the idea that we shouldn't cling to anything in the world, because it's constantly changing. The world is temporal. It's impermanent. It's going to constantly change, and therefore when we think things that are temporal are eternal, this is a big problem. This causes suffering. Everything in the world will change. Nothing will last forever. We're going to die. All of our friends are going to die. This kind of sounds pessimistic and nihilistic. It is. But what we can extract from this is not overly and irrationally caring about things, not treating things as eternal, which are actually temporal. Okay. Now, it remains to be interpreted whether or not the Buddhists, certain sects of Buddhism, believe in the immortality of the soul or not. That's beyond what we're getting at here. I'm just talking about the three laws of the universe, or characteristics of the universe: suffering when we don't get what we want, caused by desire; no self; and then the law of impermanence. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. We'll end there.